welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel, that is the R in the R case Stumblingbear, and I'm a reader and a writer. And to start off, if you hear any noise in the background, my husband got a new video game and he is having a great time, so I'm not about to ask him to turn down volume or anything. He gets to enjoy himself. But back to the video. I am back today to do the Book Snob book tag. And I saw this video on Bookworm Dreams. So it's been in my vault for a while. I don't know who the original tag was created by, but it looks like I have a link in my notes. So the original link, as well as the one for Bookworm Dreams video, will be down below in the show notes. Jump on into the 7 questions. Adaptation Snob. Do you always read the book before you watch the movie? And my answer is no. I used to, especially when I was a kid. And one of the things that broke me of that was Ella Enchanted. Ella Enchanted is a wonderful, charming, whimsical book, retelling of Cinderella, and then the movie is just a comedic flop, in my opinion. I hated it. To the point, I actually hated the actress Anne Hathaway for many years. It took me a long time for me to realize, yes, she is a good actress, and I just hated that movie because the adaptation took it in a completely different direction. Everybody who loved the book, it was completely tone-deaf adaptation. So I learned from that if I haven't read the book and there is a film or movie adaptation coming along, I'm going to wait and watch the film or movie, then I'll go back and read the book. Because 9 times out of 10, the book is way better than the adaptation of it. I mean, sometimes you have flukes like The Martian, where it's actually a really good adaptation of the book. However, I am scared to death to watch All Systems Red because I really enjoy the book and I've read it several times. I don't know what to even expect or if I'm gonna like the TV series. So, no, I do not read the books before watching a movie because I don't want to be pissed off as a viewer. Format snob. You can only choose one format to read your books for the rest of your life, and your options are physical books, ebooks, or audiobooks. And I'm gonna go physical book because I enjoy that tactile experience. I like that this takes me away from blue screens, from internet, and I just get to immerse myself in that. So paperback all the way. Ship snob. Would I marry a non-reader? Now, I am married, have been for over 15 years, and I kind of have a funny story about that. When we were engaged, my husband broached the subject this way, saying, I am a gamer and that's never going to change. And then waited. And I'm like, do you want to talk about this? No, I'm a gamer and that's never going to change. Okay. And as I'm flailing around in my head, what comes out of my mouth is, well, I'm a reader and that's never going to change. And he just spins around. He wasn't looking at me at the time. He turns in his chair. Why would I want you to stop reading? And I'm like, why would I want you to stop gaming? We both recognize this is how we relax. This is what we like to do in our free time. So yeah, I went into my marriage with my husband being very clear that I am a reader. I mean, to the point where when I didn't have funds to buy books, I was very much using my library. My library lets you take 50 books out at a time. And we had a shelf on the bookshelf specifically for my library books. So my husband is very much okay with me being a reader. And he is a reader as well. And so it's fun to get to share the things that I really love with him. Genre Snob. if I had to ditch one genre for the rest of my life, never to ever read again, what would it be? And I'm going with poetry. And that does include like epic poems. So like Shakespeare is very, I think, would fall in that as well. I'm okay if I could never read that again. Community snob. Which genre do I think receives the most snobbery from the bookish community? And that's a hard one to answer. I think society as a whole looks down upon science fiction and fantasy, which I love to read. However, my booktube community is very much curated, and most of the people I watch read science fiction and fantasy. It might not be their primary reads. They might be like wide readers and read other things as well, but I'm pretty sure every single person at least crosses a little bit with that. So since I've curated my viewing, I wouldn't really know how to answer that. Maybe, actually, I do notice that most of the people I watch tend to prefer fantasy over sci-fi, and I do separate them. So maybe that's kind of where people tend to go, just in the community that I am a part of. And Snubbery Recipient. Have I ever been snubbed for something that I was reading in particular, or just reading in general? And I haven't since I was a teenager. I had some cousins who were like, "Oh, you two are always reading." That's me and my sister. And we were like, "Yeah, get over it." But they were really the only ones in my life who were like, "You're reading again?" Because they were very active with doing other things. And I'm like, "Yeah, I like to read. That's how I like spending my time." So I think this is an older video, but if you haven't done it, since we know that our community is always changing, I am going to tag you to now do it. Have a great day.